Good day, everyone. This is Ayam, and welcome back to Ayam Vibes. Kapag ba nagkaroon ng cancellation or suspension ng klase dahil sa pagbagyo, pagbaha, o kung ano-ano pa, ay nagkakaroon din ng cancellation or suspension sa mga online classes?
Suspendido ang klase mula preschool hanggang senior high school sa mga pribado at pampublikong paaralan.
Suspindi ng klase dahil sa epekto ng bagyong
Dahil sa malakas na buhos ng ulan, suspindido ang klase sa ilang piling lugar dito sa bansa ngayong araw.
Nagsuspindi ng klase ang maraming lugar sa Metro Manila at ilang lalawigan sa Luzon dahil sa nakakaranas ng malakas na ulan.
Kapag ba nagkaroon ng cancellation or suspension ng klase dahil sa pagbagyo, pagbaha, o kung ano-ano pa, ay nagkakaroon din ng cancellation or suspension sa mga online classes? Tingnan natin ang sagot dito sa DepEd Guidelines on the cancellation or suspension of classes. The guidelines on the implementation of Executive Order No. 66 dated January 9, 2012 entitled Prescribing Rules on the Cancellation or Suspension of Classes and Work in Government Offices due to typhoons, flooding, other weather disturbances and calamities is issued to streamline the procedure on the suspension of classes and work in government offices in times of typhoons, floods, and other disasters or calamities to spare the pupils, students, teachers, and government workers and the general public from unnecessary dangers to their lives and limbs. In compliance thereof, the following guidelines shall be observed by all concerned regional, division, and school officials of both public and private schools. Number 1 is an automatic cancellation or suspension of classes. Kailan nagkakaroon ng automatic suspension or cancellation of classes? All concerned DepEd officials and personnel are directed to observe the weather bulletins of the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration or PAG-ASA announced through various media outlets such as radio, television, and internet. Automatic suspension kapag signal number 1 ang niraise ng PAG-ASA. Public and private school and kindergarten classes in the affected areas shall be automatically cancelled or suspended. Kapag naman signal number 2, public and private school, preschool, kindergarten, elementary and secondary classes in the affected areas shall be automatically cancelled or suspended. Kapag signal number 3, work in all DepEd offices in the affected areas shall be automatically cancelled or suspended. Ibig sabihin, nakadepende sa signal number na i-declare from 10 o'clock in the evening hanggang 4:30 in the morning of the following day. Classes in appropriate levels for the whole day are deemed automatically cancelled or suspended. But in case na may late suspension ng klase, afternoon classes in the appropriate levels in areas with signal numbers declared at 11 o'clock in the morning, that they are likewise automatically cancelled or suspended. Teaching personnel handling cancelled or suspended classes are likewise allowed to leave their stations in consideration of the work they will need to undertake during make-up classes. Heads of private schools shall exercise discretion on their teaching personnel handling cancelled or suspended classes. Pangalawa ay ang localized cancellation or suspension of classes and work. Localized cancellation or suspension of classes in both public and private schools and work in government offices may be implemented by local chief executives in their capacity as chairpersons of the Local Disaster Risk Reduction and Management or LDRRMC. Kapag walang suspension ang national or automatic suspension dahil wala namang storm signal na binibigay ang PAG-ASA, aasa tayo sa local cancellation through mayor or LDRRMC. Pangatlo ay ang cancellation or suspension of classes and work during other calamities. It shall be made by the local government executive as chairperson of the LDRRMC in coordination with the National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council or NDRRMC through all forms of mass media available under the circumstances. Kanino nanggagaling ang announcements? The DepEd spokesperson, regional directors, school division or city superintendents, central, regional, and division communication officers in interviews should only confirm or re-echo automatic cancellation or suspension of classes after it is officially published by Pag-asa. Meaning, no announcement should originate from the department. If interviewed by media, announcement should always be made in the reference to what Pag-asa has already announced in areas under a typhoon signal and to local chief executives in the absence of a typhoon signal. So ano ang responsibility ng mga parents? The DepEd still maintains that parents have the ultimate responsibility for determining whether their children should go to school even if no order for cancellation or suspension of classes has been issued, if they feel that traveling to or from school will place their children at risk. That is why it is advised that parents should also check for media advisories coming from Pag-asa, NDRRMC, RDRRMCs, LDRRMC, or the Office of the President itself. All previous orders and regulations relevant to the cancellation or suspension of classes due to any weather disturbances or calamities are rescinded. Hence, parents and teachers are reminded that the required number of school days for the school year shall be considered, especially in holding make-up classes, to offset the days when classes are cancelled or suspended. These make-up classes shall be held on Saturdays or on weekdays before the originally set school calendar in both public and private schools. Ito'y sinasabi nating magbabayad tayo ng utang natin because of the cancellation or suspension of classes. School officials, members of the NDRRMCs in school designated as evacuation centers are requested to render service even when classes are suspended. They shall coordinate to the local government officials on rules, orders, and guidelines prescribed for evacuation centers. And now let's go back to the original question. Kapag ba nagkaroon ng suspension of classes, suspended rin ang online classes? The answer is yes. Ngunit sa mga karagdagang paalala para sa distance learning, sa panahon ng suspensyon ng klase, ang mga mag-aaral ay hinihikayat na magsagawa ng independent study or self-learning gamit ang mga module at activity sheets sa patnubay ng mga magulang o tagapangalaga. Manood din ng mga aralin sa DepEd TV at iba pang mga video lessons na maaaring ma-access sa online or sa mga ibinibigay na offline learning resources. So, ibig sabihin, kahit na mayroong suspension of classes, ay tuloy pa rin ang iyong pagnanais na maabot ang iyong learning. Kung hindi ka naman gaanong naapektuhan sa pagsuspende ng klase dahil nasa loob ka lang ng bahay, ipagpatuloy lamang ang iyong pag-aaral para sa iyong mga aralin. Walang sinumang makakapigil sa hangarin nating matuto. Remember once Nelson Mandela says, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Thank you for tuning in. I am Vibes.